Welcome everyone. So today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing a working session on my website because the kind of proverbial thing goes as far as barbers not being able to cut their own hair. Frankly, it's tough, right? I'm working on a lot of applications and other people's work, and sometimes it's hard to make time to actually work on my own website, which is something that I do care a lot about, and I'd like to just improve the resources that are on there. And so I just have a lot of these hanging tasks that we want to do. So I figured let's just go ahead, take the stream, work on some stuff. Maybe y'all learn a thing or two as we explore things. But in the meantime, yeah, let's just go ahead and dive right in, shall we? All right. Here's the website that I have right now. As you can see, the homepage here, I'm pretty happy with this animation that I created for the social media icons. It's just like nice to have the logo, but still have it like accessible as far as like the text goes. So that I've been super proud of. But then otherwise, we are, okay, the thing I want to fix in particular, let's start with one thing I want to fix today, is that when it came to the schedule, so the schedule is basically out of date at this point because I've been trying to figure out different ways of managing data. It's been tricky, to be totally honest. And at the end of the day, though, once something is up, there should always be a recording for it. And so people should be able to dive further in to see, like, learn more about it and whatnot. So to me, it's interesting because, one, schedule-wise, when they come in and they see, okay, so for example, what's the latest thing that I published? The latest thing that I published was actually, okay, it was building a Vite environment dev for Obsidian, and that was what happened. And then I have another deep dive on Gentry Gibson's notes workflow, which is great. But the problem is that they only live on YouTube, and if people are coming to my website, it should be easy for them to go through the resources because as I keep coming out with stuff, it's just easier to be able to have people be able to search things and that kind of stuff. Knowing that, the question here that I want to try to solve is how we actually make that happen. So first thing first, let's start simple, right? Problem setting. The first thing first is we're going to make sure that anytime we have an episode of the stream that goes up on YouTube, we need the ability to make sure that can display somewhere. And so let me go ahead and bring up, let's see, is my Notion, let me make sure my Notion is good to go. Let me bring this up, content dashboard. Okay, this should be good. Okay, great. So currently right now, all my data is being managed directly in Notion. So what we can see here is you'll see all the different builds with bends. And this is at one point when I was like migrating all the stuff. In fact, this is really tiny. I can only imagine what this looks like on stream. So let me bump this up a little bit more. Okay, this should be better. So I had like different object properties that I was doing as far as like figuring this out. And it was tricky. And this is how I was managing the dates and everything. Long story short, I tried to find a more optimal workflow regarding Obsidian, that kind of thing. And that was a nice experiment, but ultimately the fact that it was like hard to actually export the data and get all that running, it was a bit tricky. So at the moment, the best foot forward, let's get something working. And so Notion is working, everything's connected. So let's go ahead and actually enhance the website so we can actually get that data in there. Ian Douglas here saying that, yeah, so similarly, having to update the page twice a week, it's painful. And so what I want to do here is just get better at that. So first thing first, let's see, what do I want to do? Okay, so one of the things I'm testing right now, to be honest, is if we look at the YouTube content, clearly everything is marked with the episode number of the session is coming from. But as a result, this means that people they're losing the topic basically, right? Because we can see that there's a character cutoff at this point. And so I'm starting to come up with this theory that it might not be as useful for people to know the session like directly in the video title. And so similarly, I'm thinking it might not be as useful to be like, oh, this is build bend number 1 as part of this title. So playing around with that a little bit. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and start with the most recent episode, right? So here is building a Vite dev environment. And if we go inside of here for Obsidian, so this is my Obsidian Vault with all my local markdown files. This was one of the things I was trying to solve at one point. Build with Ben series, here we go. Okay, so this was supposed to be episode 38, right? So let's go ahead and let's open that up real quick. And for now, I'm going to go ahead and, again, it's not perfect, and I did try to solve this for now. But let's see, build with Ben 2038. Wow, this is really far out. Okay, see, load more. Yep. Okay, so first thing first, actually, let me go with the build. Can I go just build with Ben? Okay, I'm just going to build a quick view real quick to make my life easier. So the view name will be build with Ben. And then, yeah, table is totally fine. So we'll filter this real quick. And we want the name for now to consider build with Ben. That's as simple as it's going to be. Okay, so we see that there's a bunch of stuff here. Clearly I have done a few of these. So let's just start with the build with Ben 38. So that's correct. And then let's just copy over this title real quick and build a Vite dev environment. There we go. That's copied over now. And so what we need to do is I need to update some stuff, right? Okay, this was one thing what I was trying to do at one point. Live stream. Okay. Anyways, platform. Woo, this was complicated. Okay, when did I record this? Let's see this. This was recorded on July 17th. So that is what we're going to put that here. Or 19th. Sorry, I can't read. And then August 2nd is when it was published. Okay. So how do we want to do this? Ideally, we would fetch the thumbnail that YouTube has and just put it next to it. I think this is kind of like the easiest thing. So for example, this here, I'll copy the link address. That's the URL. And this thing is published. God, emoji spacing, I gotta say on labels is been a tricky thing. But anyhow, okay, so now that we have this, there's a description here. So what I wanna do is let's go ahead, let's go in here. So I had a little description here. So boom, let's drop that in here. And then that's that. Okay, so now that we have all this, we should be able to fetch all this and see it on the latest copy. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna open up my VS Code. I'm in my Ben Code Zen project right now, which is totally public. So in case you wanna learn how everything works, you totally can. So let's see, we're on main right now, which is totally fine. And yep, let's just kick out all the changes. Okay, great. So first thing first is let's run NTL dev. I think this will work. Nuxt fatal error. Whoopsie daisy. All right, let's go. Oh, I forgot. I think the last time I ran this project locally was when I was working on Nuxt 3 stuff. So for now, for the purposes of getting something out there sooner rather than later, I'm going to go ahead and fix it on the main branch, and then we'll migrate it over to Nuxt 3 when the time comes. Okay, so we have that. Great. That's installing. Ooh. Oh no, so many things wrong. Okay, hang on. I'm just going to switch over to 14 real quick. And then let's install the dependencies on 14. Okay, so the problem is, okay, we need to go in, update it. And so what I'd like to do is for people to come in, and if they're looking at the schedule, they can see anything that's passed. They can see when it was published, if the video is up, and if not, then it can just be like a TBD. That's totally fine. But more importantly, I'd like to also be able to start making it easier for people to actually look at the learn section, to be like, oh yeah, here's the learn section, and they can like look through all the different content, search for things, especially if I start tagging it with stuff. If they want to look through all the Nuxt content or whatever, I'd like to be able to make that easier for them. And right now, that's not possible. Everything's very siloed in different places, and I'd really like to fix that. Okay, this was successful, which is great. So sometimes node versioning can be a thing. So let's go ahead and now run local dev. This looks promising. Everything's firing up. Great. Come on, localhost. Okay, so that's that. Compiling the client, boom, boom, great. Okay, so if we go to the schedule now, I stumbled upon a mysterious error. Oh no, API token is invalid. Okay, this is not great. NTL dev should have gotten the latest. Did my token get invalidated? Let's see, API response request user, rejection. Yeah, then the token is unauthorized. So if we come in here now, we can take a look to see actually if everything broke. And so we can see the Notion bot is in here. You can manage integrations and settings. Okay, give me a sec, just to make sure no like information comes up that I wasn't ready for. Integrations. Yeah, okay, yep, internal. Copy integration token. Okay, so actually, you know what I need to look real quick? Did it load the context environment? Loaded functions, loaded course. Oh, but I don't see any of my environment variables. Okay, so if I go into Netlify, let's go log in real quick. Let's take a look. Sites. We're looking for Ben Code Zen. Here we go. Site settings, we're looking for the environment, do build deploy environment. And yep, there's a Notion API key. Let me verify this real quick to make sure this is correct. So do edit, show it. Let's see. Do secret. Yeah, that's correct. Oh no, I deleted it. Dang it. What did I call it? Let's see, search Notion equals new client. Notion API key, that's what I called it. Okay. Notion underscore API key. Okay. That's great. Okay. I have my environment variables. Now it should fetch. So okay, let's see, NTL. There's been a little bit of an update, but that should be fine. Let's see, MTL env do. All right, so let's list to see what we have. No site ID found. No wonder why nothing's being brought in. So in case for those who are new to, oh, I see Kawa Entertainment here. Hi, Ben, what is VIA? I'm not sure what VIA is. If that was a typo, let me know. Happy to answer your question though. So what is VIA? Yeah, I don't know what that is. So feel free to clarify that. And anyhow, if you haven't used Netlify before, one of the things I love about it is that it makes environment variable management super easy, because basically once you set it up on the dashboard and you pull it up, like you don't have to worry about .m files. VIA is in your prompt. Oh, I got it. Okay, I'll explain. Okay, let me explain that then actually. Okay, thank you, Ian, for that. Okay, so let me actually full screen this so people can see. So actually, I don't even need to do that. I'll do this on the terminal because while that thing is doing that thing. Okay. So basically, what you have here is called Rocket. I believe it's called Rocket Terminal. Or is it Ship? I always mess this up. Rocket Ship. Oh, Starship. I don't know why I keep calling it Rocket Ship. Starship RS. No, it has nothing to do with Netlify. What it is, it's basically a minimal command shell prompt that makes it easy for you to cut away the noise. So once you install it, you can see what you see here is the project. So that's the project name that I'm currently in. And then if it detects settings like GitHub, for example, you'll notice that this one says, oh, what branch are you on? And the branch here is indicated via this icon. And so I'm on branch 06-N, and this is for a course I recently created. And then the via is basically to environment context that you're in. So in this case, this project is within version 16. And the reason I love this minimalist prompt is because it makes it easy to get the critical information. Because I don't know about you, especially in the past, when you're working with projects, it's easy sometimes to lose track of what your node version is. Because especially if you're working on legacy things and you might switch around between things. And you may all of a sudden be like, oh, why isn't everything's broken? And then you'll look everywhere except for the fact that you're on the wrong node version. And this prompt makes it very obvious to you that, hey, you're on version 16. More importantly, other things that you'll notice here too is that you'll see that here. So I'm on my project Ben Code Zen, and I'm on the main branch, and it has actually little signifiers to let you know, hey, what exactly is going on. So in this case, the exclamation point is telling me, hey, there are changes that have been made. So if I go to my status, you'll see, hey, they haven't been committed. If I actually commit those changes, you'll see that it switches from an exclamation point to a plus symbol. And that, I love that feedback of knowing I did something versus if you're wondering, so let's go ahead and make one more change actually. So let me go to events.js and just let me add a random change here. Come on. Terminal, there it is. You'll see now that it has exclamation point and, so it basically says, oh, there's uncommitted change and you have some of your changes that's committed. And so what's great is that I can basically go check and be like, oh yeah, I didn't want that change in event.js. So I can check it out and then it'll automatically revert it and say, oh, everything's cleared. And so they're just like nice minimalist notifications and I absolutely love it. So if you get a chance to try it out, it's completely free and the team did a phenomenal job. So Starship RS, I gotta sync that to the memory. I think the reason I think of Rocket is because the spaceship and Rocket is the emoji. So I think that's why I think of it that way. But yeah, if you've ever done any terminal customization in the past, it's usually complicated, but with Starship, like you literally install it and it basically looks the way you want it to, which is what I absolutely love. No like emoji configuration and everything. Okay, cool. So now that we have all this set up, what we can do now is we can basically say, what did I do? Did I break something? Oh, wait, I changed something. Oh yeah, the package.json updated. That's fine. That's a good thing, I think. But let's NTL dev to make sure everything's working now. So again, the Netlify dev, what it does is it's basically creating a local environment that fetches all the serverless functions, all this. It basically creates like a full stack environment in a way that feels like you're running a front end application. Because if you've ever worked on like WordPress or stuff in the past, you have to set up like a whole stack with HP running, and then you needed like whatever, like you needed like not Laravel, but I can't even remember all the stuff now. But you need to set up all these servers to make it work. And this is just like NTL dev is like, boom, everything works. And it feels like you're running npm run dev, which is great. And so the difference here, in case you're ever working on a Netlify project and you're like, where are my environment variables? You can see that they're right here. And so the fact that earlier we weren't getting them is exactly why nothing was showing up. And it was like, oh, your schedule is broken. And that's the reason why. There was no environment variables. So now we can see here that, okay, I see all my productivity power hour stuff, but I should have my build with Ben because that was the most recent thing that happened. So now we're going to do some debugging. So if I go into my, let's see. Oh, this is events.js. Let's see. So we're looking at it. Oh, we're looking for the tag contains public schedule, and that I did not do. So if you look back in Notion, so the way I had architected this at one point is I was saying, hey, look, actually, in fact, why is it sorted like that? Let me sort this by recording date, and then we will do this by descending. So I get the most recent at the top. Perfect. Great, that's fine. Ba-bum. So we have publishing date, publishing URL, recording date. I don't have the time right now, but that's not really important. And then we have recording URL. Again, not totally relevant. Tags. Okay, public schedule. Great. Now that this is updated and I refresh it, it should fetch. Oh, it did it. Here we go. Build with Ben, number 38. Great. Monday, recording YouTube video. Okay, so clearly I did enough to pop that into the card, which is great. Oh, so apparently past me had done this and I had just not done the cleanup on this. That said, though, it is not the greatest in this regard because at this point, well, the recording's here. I guess there could be other resources that I attach to it, theoretically, like the blog post. Okay, this is good, though, because it means that going forward, I can basically go through and easily update everything. The only thing that's a little bit weirding me out, though, is why the heck did it cut off the build a Vite dev environment for Obsidian theme development? This is weird to me. So what we're going to do, let's just do some inspections, shall we? We can go ahead and inspect. If we look at view, take a look at the app. Opinion not found, that's fine. Okay, so we're coming in here inside of our Nuxt app. And let's see, pages schedule. Okay. Events list. This is good. So this is the second one, it looks like. Productivity. Oh, no, it's not even in that order. Build with Ben 38. Yeah, the title got cut off, which is interesting because, All right, before I debug that, I see some stuff in the chat. So Ian Douglas here. I'm wondering for things like this, whether Notion's API would be faster than Airtable. I use Hugo for Markdown right now, so it's all static and it loads instantly with no background effect needed. Thoughts on API access time? Oh, okay. So this is something that, let me think about this real quick. What I do actually, because of how Nuxt works, is that on the event page, so where is my, what do I call this again? Schedule page. Okay. So on the schedule page, you'll notice that in Nuxt, I'm using this thing called use event or this async data hook. And so what it's doing actually is that it's fetching all that stuff at build time so that you don't have that API call to go out into Notion. So in other words, my site is only as updated as every time that I build it. And so as a result, you don't have to worry about that performance bottleneck. And especially for things like when we do streams and we update content, to your point, there's really no point for that to be dynamic. And so I'm, as much as I can, I'm trying to make my website have everything as statically generated as possible because most of that stuff's going to stay the same. And so that's done via this. So Nuxt at build time will go out, fetch everything, and it's great. So Ian Douglas, still I have to manually update something. Yeah, so at this point, the content entry for me is still like the content management of having to go in and update things that I can't seem to avoid right now because I think the automation of that would be tricky because I'm trying to envision like a world where it's like when it publishes to YouTube, it like updates a build hook for the right file in Notion, which then triggers a build hook in Netlify to update the site. And so I think at least that automation I'm having a hard time seeing in my brain. But you know what though? For the sake of discussion, because that's what we do here on stream. That's the whole point of the stream, right? You have the ability to look, just like experiment with ideas, right? So let me just go ahead and log this in real quick. Nothing special about that. Let me log in under my account. Yes. Oop. Okay, great. Okay, so I have Zapier up. I wonder if there is like an automation for this. So Zapier is I think it's one of the most popular integrations from like hooking things up. Sure, I'll accept cookies. Okay, so what if we had YouTube? Okay. What happens? Oh, okay, hold up. New video in... Oh, you could even tag it to the specific channel. So then we say, oh, when the channel has that, okay, I'd have to connect it. Oh, this is interesting because theoretically, to continue, finish required fields. All right, you know what? Fine. I'm going to actually, let me just connect YouTube to my Ben Kozen channel. Yes, Ian Douglas, there is one for channel. So actually our playlist. In fact, I think I like that better, to be honest, because then I can be very specific at this time. And then we could say, oh, playlist ID. Okay, that's fine. So we'll go to my channel and let's see, playlist here. And so for now, we were working with Build with Ben, right? So here's the building with Ben. Wow, I hate the autoplay. Where is the playlist ID? It says that in the URL of the playlist. So I guess it's this, if I were to guess. Oh wait, this is the list. So for parsing this, the video is this key. So in case people are new to URL parsing, like usually developers do it fairly intuitively. Sometimes it makes absolutely no sense. But in this case, let's break this down real quick. Actually, let me see if I can do this with, can I like make this large text? Make larger. Nope, I can't do it. I wish I could have done that. Okay, anyways, just to break it down for the sake of learning experiences. Obviously, we have the URL here. We can watch stuff. And then here the question mark is where your parameters come in. So for those new to development. So V here, I'm going to assume here is probably the video ID. And then the list here, and so this is and what else, and parameters. The list and this here is the ID. So we're going to take that and drop that in. So it looks like it found it correctly. So test the trigger. Ba-ba-bum. Okay, so it has a new episode, although building a card game is very wrong. Oh, wait, that makes sense, actually. Does it? I don't think it does. Oh, I think it's just pulling. I'm going to hope it's pulling a random video. It might be pulling the latest one. Okay, so it pulled a video. That's fine. It was successful. Then what can we do with that? Because that's really the question. Okay, hang on a sec. Okay, Kawa Entertainment here. Sorry, I missed your question earlier. Yes, I did code my site with Vue and Nuxt. That's my framework of choice. For those, if you've tried Vue, and when I say try though, to be very clear, I actually built a proper project with it, not just like cursory look at things and be like, that's not for me. And have someone like, if you're confused about something, at least walk you through it. And then if you feel like it's not for you, that's a separate matter. But anyways, if Vue's not for you, another one that I've heard really good things about and I've got to play around with a little bit is Svelte. So in case you're having to like looking into frameworks to play around with, those are the kind of the two I would recommend. Okay, so let's see. Ian, what do you got? Yup. Stuff in Airtable could tell Airplay to sort the episode. Was there one for playlists? Yep. That's all in mind. Watch 2 playlists. Yeah. I'm actually kind of excited about this. So it's interesting. There are built-in rules. So you can filter when a preceded question is met. This is super interesting because now, okay, Notion is actually an option. In Notion, we could update a database item. Ooh, okay. So we've unlocked something pretty powerful here, which is that, let's say we can add all this stuff to Notion. I'm pretty sure what that means to me is like, so let's say we go in fact, I actually questioned my original architecture of the data how I was entering it. Cause I was trying to do double duty. I was being like, here's the Twitch stream. And then I'm also going to put the recording of the Twitch stream as part of that data attribute. But I actually think that's wrong. What I actually think probably I need to do is to say, hey, look, The Twitch stream is one thing. That's a different schedule. And the publish date for these videos, especially because, to be honest, like it's hard sometimes for me to publish them chronologically because some of them take longer editing time and that kind of stuff. But on the other hand, now that we have this, we could create a new line item that updates Notion with the right things. And then from here, you like Netlify's. I don't know if I don't know if Zapier just knows me, but apparently Netlify's on here. So we could come in here and I could start a deploy. Oh my gosh. This is huge from an automation perspective. Oh gosh. I can't even begin to tell you how exciting this is, because it does mean I now no longer need to like schedule. So currently I have a cron job running for my site like every Monday, I think, and Wednesday or something. I just like automatically build stuff. But this would be way better because it's like when a YouTube is updated. Oh, this is great. So clearly, you know what? Hold up before I forget, because sometimes it's easy to get post-stream checklist, add task for looking into Zapier automation for publishing YouTube video and having it update the site. So just this quick note for myself, the idea with that we said was, so basically watch for a new YouTube video, and then when that YouTube video goes out, then you like go to Notion, update that thing. Then from there, you start to deploy with Netlify, and then you have a full workflow right there. The only thing I have to consider though, whenever I'm talking about solution, because for those who are like, oh, this is perfect, this is what I need for me, the drawbacks. So the main thing to keep in mind with Zapier is the fact that, let's see, can I see the pricing this way? Yes, I can see the pricing. It can get expensive depending on how often you're running things and whatnot. So for example, like I think Ian here was talking about, I think he has a similar workflow. And in that regard, so for me, for example, I would technically have 2 videos a week at most at this, let's say, no. Okay, even so, let's say I have 5 videos a week. I got my content production to be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, which is great. This means the automation is running 25 times a month. Let's say four weeks in a month. Oh wait, no, I can't math right now. 4 weeks times 5, 20. So here we go. So you have 20 zaps, 15-minute update time, multi-step zaps. That's fine. Okay, so here's part of it. Actually, here's interesting. To get multi-step zaps, you actually need to be on a paid plan. That can be a deal breaker for people because it's easy to be like, oh, it's just $20 a month. But again, everyone's financial position is different. So just know that this can be a limiting factor. And as you can see, how many tasks they run per month is different too. So again, I think at $20 a month, for the fact that I would get, again, let's go for the ceiling here, 20 videos, that's 20 tasks. I still have 30 left on top of other things. I think that's pretty darn great. Considering how much time and sometimes the complications of things, it means that you could leverage workflows, like especially if I got videos edited earlier and then got them scheduled. It means if I just disappeared for a month because I need to go for a work thing or just couldn't keep up with things, my site workflow would just automatically go through. And so Ian here has an excellent point, which is that, okay, so in case pricing is a problem for you, so for the sake of covering different solutions that people could, oh gosh, I forgot the automation tool that I used for, do I have it here? Oh, it's bothering me. So there's an automation tool similar to Zapier, actually. I wonder, did I mention Zapier anywhere? Zapier is it Unito? This is another one, but this is pricing. Open source. It's like an open source automation where you can like self-host. This is I want to figure this out real quick. Let's see. Is this the Integromat? No, not Integromat. Selenium, Appium, Robotium. I used this when I was doing the Telegram stuff. Ah, no, don't sell me something. Okay, hold up. Obsidian, Telegram. I did. N8N. Yes. Obsidian for the win. And actually, now that I know that I did this, I'm going to open N8N. Let me make this a thing. This is similar to Zapier, which is great. So now, by the way, in case there's like a small Obsidian pitch. In case in the future I have the same problem, I will open my Zapier note and I'll be like, hey, there was something related to Zapier. And I could go, oh, wait, not my global graph. Whoops, that's too much. I can go to my local graph. Is it local? How do I do local? Open local graph. So you can see Zapier here is related to N8N, and N8N would be enough to trigger my memory, which as it just did earlier. And similarly, linked mentions here. That's great. Anyways, N8N. This thing you can do self-hosting. So I would drop, oh, wait. I was like, this doesn't look right. Here we go. N8N is a tool that I've actually had really good experiences with. And so I think Ian here might be mentioning something. Yeah, so this is, I feel like they used to have a free plan. Oh, I think that's part of it. Okay. So basically they have the ability for you to self-host it. And so I forgot how we did this, but at one point, I think they did actually have a proper free plan. It's just, I'm curious why they're saying the desktop app is free. But anyhow, if price is a concern, but you want some automation, I don't think you can truly escape costs with this. I know that as developers, a lot of times we get caught up in like getting stuff for free. And I think that's great. But to speak a little bit to the fact that just as a reminder that things cost money to run. So it's okay to pay for some infrastructure, especially if, again, running a Docker, I think if it's like a Docker container. So what was it? If you do like DigitalOcean, for example, so you could do DigitalOcean hosting. I think you can host like, it's fairly affordable for what you would. Yeah, as you see, $4 a month, like droplets. Anyways, if you consider the fact for pricing, and this is like a mini tangent, but I do think it's worth mentioning. When it comes to software, I know that we get caught, as I mentioned, a lot of stuff we do get for free. Like the fact that VS Code is free blows my mind a bit, because I would have happily paid like I would have paid like $100 for, again, for the tool, because it makes my life a lot easier and it's got a great ecosystem. Granted, I know that it's like a play for Microsoft to get people in their ecosystem, etc. I get it. But on the other hand, for a lot of other services where you don't have a giant enterprise service like feeding it, in this particular case, like people's time is worth something and valuable. And so I always try my best, especially for a lot of us who work in tech, we are a lot more privileged when it comes to pay and that kind of stuff. You know, when you can and it makes sense, do try to support people as it makes sense. And don't, I guess I'm trying to just push for supporting people for the work that they do whenever you can. Anyhow. Oh, Ian. Oh my gosh. Sorry. Ian, that was absolutely not a comment at all. I actually do agree with you. I think especially for developer tooling, it does make sense to have a free plan to try one workflow, because that's what I did with N8N. And that's how I tried it. I did like a whole thing. So it's interesting. So it's interesting when you price compare the two. We have N8N over here and we have Zapier. N8N is super powerful. I will say that. So when you're doing some really like minute, like you can really finesse things when you're drawing out a diagram to be like, if this, then run some custom JavaScript and then do this. It's pretty amazing. And so again, if we think about it from like a price perspective, because again, money is a limited resource, just remember that if you were to pay someone to do this manually, to go in every time to update your Notion and then to go in, like it's expensive. It gets expensive really quickly. And more importantly, if you somehow found someone willing to do it for $20 to do all that work, I would beg the question of, is it really ethical to be paying someone that low for work that like brings a lot of value to you? And so this is where I think automation is great. And like the price for the value, I think works really well. And then when you want to hire help, just keep in mind, try to support people with fair pay as much as humanly possible. That's just my mini rant when it comes to this stuff. But I just think it's important for us. The world is clearly changing. I'm sure all of you are going through different circumstances, and especially for those of us living around the world, there's just different things going on. And so to me, like the more we can put out a little bit more kindness and think about others, the better chance we have at making the world a better place for everyone. Because otherwise, things have just gotten a little bit messy, haven't they? Anyhow. All right. This has actually been super fun from a stream perspective, because we've gotten the chance to explore a couple of things, and big props to Ian for kicking off the idea that I could automate it, because at first I was like, no, I was like, Dad, you have to do this and then this. And then I was like, but Ian, I know you're heading out. So thank you. Yep. Appreciate you hopping on, and I'll catch you later. Okay. So Overall, it looks like again, I came to this thinking I was going to make sure recording videos were going to get dropped in, but it's clear to me it's actually showing up here at the bare minimum. I do need to think about re-architecting how the content is being organized so that it can be useful. So for example, you can imagine what I'll do in the future is I'll actually ingest all of my Notion content. And what I would do inside with this is I could tag it with different topics. And then that way inside of my site, people could actually go, oh, I'm looking for Nuxt content. I'm looking for all the Obsidian content that Ben's created. That is something I just have not done a good job of making it easy for people to find. I've tried my best in case for people who are looking for something immediately from a problem to solve. My MVP for that was basically creating a playlist within YouTube. So it's something, but given that I have all this stuff regarding, I have notes in here, I have resources and stuff. I'd like to make it a better experience for people looking through things so that it can help with their journey, however that is. So with that said and done, let me switch back over to the camera. Boom. All right. So this has been a lot of fun. Thank you everyone for watching. I'll go ahead and try to get the schedule updated for what time basically you can expect me to be on going forward in case you want to be here live to chat through things. I'll catch you all another time. All right. Bye-bye.